Hello, Melly, and welcome to your Akashic Records reading. So first and foremost, I wanted to show you the frequency that ended up getting chosen for your session. I grabbed the remote so you can see the terms, but I don't even know if that's front facing. So it's actually something I just started coming across this week. And hold on, I'm cricket. It is a water tuner. Align and balance energy with soothing noise therapy. So this is actually tinkering the water in your body, which is super important because the water in your body holds the memory from not only this life, but all the other ones. This happens through like our DNA, like your last life. I'm getting that your DNA is something that we can't even understand here, but it's pretty much like your soul coded into a form that'll fit into the body. It doesn't matter if you don't roll over right away. As soon as you come into another body, that DNA will still be activated. Like the DNA is so intricate, they don't even understand that the 12 strands are still active. And we're only aware of, let's see, because they call that dead DNA. It's not dead DNA. They just don't know what it is. The same way that they think that the ability to speak to people beyond the veil, be they dead or higher entities, is schizophrenia. They just don't know what it is yet, so they label it something that makes everybody uncomfortable because they're uncomfortable with their lack of understanding it. So how many DNA strands I typed that in wrong. There we go. That are active, guys, that are active. Because there are 12 strands, and I kept seeing like how many strands are being used. How many strands of DNA are in a human being? 2. It says 2. Which is crazy because I was seeing some other stuff on here that was talking about 46 strands and all this other stuff. I ain't a scientist, although I'm like a metaphysician, right? I deal with more of the abstract stuff that is not yet understood here, but the stuff that is understood here makes me go, huh? Maybe because it's like old. It might be the same as like Microsoft DOS, and I'm working with Windows 3000. You know what I mean? It's like does not compute. Because I see on here, did humans once have 12-strand DNA? We still have 12-strand DNA, and that interacts with the different 12 versions of our etheric body. Them saying that we only have 2 available is like them saying we only have this body and then like an aura field. We have a whole like 13-layer thing that connects us. Each piece of us is connected to a different part of the tree of life or death if you're spiraling downward. So the water that you carry connects you to those strands even if these people don't see it. And originally when I started this, I was going with the transmutation one for like denser energies, but that would have synced me to the stuff that you need to pull up. But from like a darker perspective, you know, last time we talked, we were dealing with some imposter syndrome stuff that's blocking you from living your best life. So I thought that might have been the route to go. Then I came across a happiness frequency and I'm like, if I try to give her a bunch of sunlight when her seed is still in the ground, she won't receive the sunlight. So that's not the way I need to go. When I went back to the screen, I saw this water one and I'm like, that's a perfect blend. Let's get some move on the stuff that needs to be cleaned down, but not so much so that it makes it the whole theme of this reading. Like it can be very cathartic to hear about the old stuff and like, oh, this is why I'm scared of this and this is why I'm scared of that. And we're absolutely going to do that. But I don't want that to be the only thing I'm leaving you with at the ends of this session. So this is your Akashic session. We're going into your book of life for what you need to know now. And my goal during this session is to lead you from what you have been trying to do and accomplish this whole time and the block that has sort of formed based upon you doing it so many times, like the butterfly effect, to what is going to clear that out. Where is the funnel that is going to allow the water to come through to make that flow out? Think about pipes for a second, and I'm picturing your DNA as pipes. You have some rust from old stuff in your pipes is what I'm getting. The flow that I want to bring in is like new fresh water that is such a strong current, that it starts to knock out the rust. Like your pipes will be made anew. So let's get started with the past life. Work our way into the present, right? I have all my decks over here. I'm so excited. I rarely get them like this close to me. This week has been such a blessing. So, where is the past life root for Melly's imposter syndrome? What is the past life root from her imposter syndrome? Egypt. There's nothing else I needed to say with that one. That was pretty direct. Transportation was the next one, but it's like being moved away from Egypt. Okay. Ironically enough, this feels Atlantis-based, and I'm going to say that. So imagine that all the pyramids that we see, or the major energy centers, were already sort of set up during the Atlantis period, before Adam and Eve even happened. And then some Christopher Columbus type conquistadors came along later on, like, these Egyptian pyramids, or this marker here, we shall build upon this and claim it as only ours. So this means that Machu Picchu, what is that place in Tulum? Like Chichen Itza, the Egyptian pyramids, Mount Kilimanjaro, and stuff like that, the energy centers, the vortexes, even Sedona, Arizona, that line up with the ley lines of the planet and the strongest energy centers, they were already there, right? That's where I'm getting that you were, or what you were in Egypt for, because you were a galactic being. Before Atlantis fell, we could come here in our angelic form and still be seen. You would just be on a different dimension. Now we are stuck or bound to 3D. Which goes back to the schizophrenia thing I was saying. Some people can still see that there are 5D, 7D beings around us. But everybody else has been cut off in some way, shape, or form. Maybe their DNA is dead. But when you activate it, which is entirely possible, which could be part of this, your DNA activation allows you to remember stuff like this. So I'm going to say that you were an angelic entity or a starseed of some sort originally. You came to Egypt. You were in charge of setting up and maintaining the energy that was coming through. That clearly failed. Look, the next one is ships, right? So Martians came in. Tale as old as time. I'm gonna say that every time it has something to do with the Martians, because it's the tale of Beauty and the Beast. Earth was originally a all-female planet. We started with Lemuria. I think actually they were like literal lemur type beings, along with the different star seeds. We were just all living copacetically in our feminine energy. Even now, if you think back to like our eggs and how we begin getting formed in this life, everything starts off female and then something is added to make it male. That is what happened historically. The Martians blew up their own place. They opened up a tesseract. Okay, a tesseract or energy portal, and it brought them here. Once they were here, they realized that, oh, hold on, we don't know what this energy is, female energy, but it's weaker than us. And then they took over. So it looks like during that takeover, you were moved, baby. You were moved. And you were forced to be a wife. So when I saw this unrequited love at first, I was like, oh, I don't want to have to tell her no story about her chasing behind a dude. This is not about you chasing behind a dude. This is about you not loving the person that you were forced to be tied to. That's vows and trust and faith. So that lets me know that eventually this ripple became a religious thing. Like, imagine that life. You got stuck with this Martian overlord dude as your husband till you passed away, just stuck by his side all the time, bound. Next life you came back, right? Who was waiting at the door? And in this case, it might have been something like The Color Purple. In this case, or the next life, because of the way that we've been evolving, then you would have got sold to him in the next life. Like, oh, he's coming with a dowry to pay for our daughter. And that would happen over and over again. But it would be religiously influenced. Like, this is what you do for the family. Your imposter syndrome, I'm getting, is coming from your desire not to want to be seen or recaptured or to connect with that person again. So I'm going to pull from a different deck. And I'm just going to ask very blatantly. What is the root to Melly's imposter syndrome. It was not necessarily only this life, although the people in this life were a reflection of what you've been dealing with every time. But it's like, imagine everybody's souls still know the storyline, and your family still knows that you need to marry this person in order for them to get their dowry in some way, shape, or form. They would all be treating you in a way that prepares you for this person to come in. So what is the root for Melly's imposter syndrome? Your fear of being seen. Gilded with regrets. What's getting me there is that crown. It sort of felt like heavy is the crown. You went through this cycle so many times of anytime you ended up showing your light, anytime you came out, your power was taken for granted and you ended up in this energy, which is forgetting yourself. So imagine a guy recognizes that you're a great thing. He who has a wife has a great thing, right? And then he minimizes it. Like his whole goal, like a wild horse every time, is to see your beautiful free energy and want to like buck break it. Like, you know how they get a horse that's a stallion or something and they're like, she's sort of unruly. But you picked it because of its vibrance, only for you to try to tame that into something you can control instead of stepping your pussy up so that you could be a match for that person. It's like after a while, your soul got tired of being broken and you came into this life broken. Everything around you has been a reflection of that. So let's get to the healing, because baby, we ain't gonna let this past story keep being our lore, right? So what does Melly need to do to correct this in this lifetime? I love this job so much. I'm consistently amazed. Past life cycles. It wasn't this life. Like everything in this life, it was a reflection of how you already felt. It was just solidifying it into this body, right? But the good thing about that is now that you have like the whole blueprint in this one, you can start to edit and fix it. You are fixing your soul from within this body because now you have awareness of the connection, that water connection that is never breakable. Like, can you break up water really? You'd have to turn it into another form to do that. But if something's in its flow, all you can do is try to get in the middle of it. And what's going to do? If you put your foot in some water, what's going to happen? The water's going to go around your foot to connect back again. You cannot break. You cannot break down what can be broken. Great poet there, Lil Wayne. So this one says, this indicates a past life is the reason why the intense energy surrounds you. The person or situation. Oh, that was the end of the sentence. Look into ways to clear past life karma and see the bigger picture of the situation by viewing it from a lesson perspective. Taking ownership for your part and forgiveness are key in releasing past life karma. So that just let me know. I'm going to send you a link to the past life regression I created. I was having a hard time in the beginning of this journey listening to affirmations or meditations because I ain't like the idea of somebody in my head. I know that's got to be some past life stuff I got to deal with. It might be this life, and that's even scarier. Haven't walked through that door yet. But I could not allow somebody else's voice to put me under. So I made a past life regression for myself with my voice, and then I started sharing it with other people. Now I feel like I only share it with students or those who need more access to past life regressions, those who feel comfortable with my voice, because it turns out like my voice does relax people enough for them to unlock things they couldn't see. So my past life regression, it takes you through some steps, right? And you start off with a question. You can change the question for every regression. It is intended for multi-use. So you will get a different colored door or a different scenario every time you go through that will lead you to an answer. So for example, in this case, you'll say, can I be led to the root of my imposter syndrome? And then you get like a purple door, and then you get to see that life and integrating that knowledge back into you. You could say, hell no. And then you'd be aware of how it's showing up in your life now. So if you go to post something and you pause, You'll remember like a backhand from their husband. You'll be like, he is not here to backhand me now. Let me go ahead and post. But you were only not posting because you remembered that there used to be a repercussion for any time you tried to shine. You know what I mean? So look at this card. You see that water? Can't make this up. Nature therapy. Ground yourself in nature. You need to get back in your flow. You are too much in your frame, I'm getting. And by your frame, I mean the character of Melly. Melly is timeless. She has been around since the beginning of time, but she has had a million different names. I don't want to say you are over-identifying with this character because that is the point of the ego, but use this as your avatar, as your filter. Understand this is a part of your essence, not your entire being, sweetie. So this says, your soul loves to connect and be with one with nature. A beautiful healing takes place when you ground and center yourself with the earth. Being in nature has a way to restore what has been lost and brings you back to your center. So imagine you were some sort of aquatic being. Every time you tap back into water, you will feel different. This would mean you're the type of person that does really good from healing baths, showers. I have lately found that I love water. Like I always knew I loved water, but going to the pool or the sauna or anything that lets me like rehydrate, I feel like I'm reborn every time. Like if I could give myself a baptism every month, I would. There's just something about the water that resets me. But my son is in the 12th house. My son is in the house of water, Piscean things, nature outside of here. I was looking for my tablet because I was gonna pull up your chart, but I'm gonna stick to what I'm doing. I'm gonna use my Astro Codes deck because we're going through your Akashic record. I think sometimes I use the charts as backup because I can say something right here in totality and it'd be right, and then I still feel like I need the card to back me up. And then if I don't need the card to back me up, I need the chart to back me up just so you can see that I'm not capping. But the truth is, the resonance is in my words to you. You can be like, I don't know how she knows that, but it feels right. But if I show you in your chart, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense because that's in there. It's just like how we are, but like we need to ground stuff into reality. I hope one thing in the future that we can all just hear each other in our radios. And I just got like a vision of dolphins, like the way they speak to each other. Is it through sonar or something? Like when we're on the same wavelength and it's in alignment with the truth that we just know and we can carry it. Like we can be activated through those codings. More by faith and frequency than by sight and logic. I pray. So what part of Melly's chart or natal design will she be using to heal this? My mind was like, let's get it, thug motivation. Interestingly enough, it says, Leo, this is your sense of self-worth. This is your literal sun, your physical body, your 5th house, any planets that you have at the 5th, 17th, or 29th degree. There's a special power behind the 29th degree that is mastery. That is kingdom out, okay? If you have anything in there. But your sense of self-esteem. You don't know what you're capable of because you have yet to step out of your shell. I'm a Leo. So that means whatever this energy is in your chart, I'm directly triggering this for you. So the next one was Sagittarius, but it's expanding your sense of self. And I feel like it's through trying different things. Like take a spiritual bath with Himalayan sea salt and journal after you've been in there for 10 minutes, after you cleared off the negative ions. That's what the salt is doing. It's taking the negative stuff out of your field, the things that you have picked up from other people, right? When you cry, it's releasing the negative ions that have been in your field in a physical form. You might need to cry in the water, but either way, write down the ideas that you get when you're purging, when you're grounded, when you're in nature, when you're in the sun even. I just made a post about sunbathing and the importance of soaking up the sun or tapping back into source energy or replenishing yours as a unavoidable, necessary practice in your life, just to refuel yourself. So expanding your sense of self as a form of healing. This is like getting you to the point where nobody can tell you anything about you because they don't even know who you are anymore. You know the real you, and you never gave that to anybody before. And this is the root of your family, the root of your emotional stuff. They gave you an estimation on who you were or what they thought you were capable of based on who you came from. Based on what they could see of you. They didn't know that you were like a little hermit crab keeping some stuff for yourself, because if they had seen all that, they might have tried to pimp you out. So, what will healing this wound change in your life? What will healing this wound? Something popped up off top. What will healing this wound change in Melly's life and energy? Because I keep getting this, like cleaning the rust out your pipes so that your flow can come through more freely. Immediately raising your vibration. But the card that popped up was worth, your self-worth. You deserve good things. You are worthy of love and blessings. It is your birthright, regardless of your belief. Grace, guidance, and gifts created just for you await your open heart. You're being asked to nurture yourself as you step into your own personal abundance because you have been holding back. So grow a great life. Look at what is important to you. Nourish what you wish to grow in your life. Lovingly tend to your relationships. Support your mind, body, and spirit. Abundance. Prosperity is yours. Draw abundance to yourself by feeling gratitude for what you have. Rest assured knowing there is truly enough for everybody. It's going to raise your vibration. That's all that is. So it's the difference in having on sunglasses versus rose-colored glasses. Have you ever had some tinted rose-colored glasses, and the way that it sort of makes the whole world look like, oh, this is sort of pretty, like it's different, versus the other sunglasses that make everything darker? Or even these are blue light glasses. I see through them completely clearly. All they're blocking out is the shadow and stuff. So everything does look a little brighter. The glasses that you're wearing are going to change. And you're going to notice some new things about yourself, and those are the things you're going to develop. You're going to allow yourself to look at yourself differently. I want you to try this thing I call observation mode. You look, and you're taking data, and you add it to your database for another day when you can judge it. So watch yourself this way. You tend to do this with your children. You do it with a lover when you're dating them. Just watching and collecting, like trying to understand this person. Like, oh, I didn't notice they did that. Ooh, her hair's really pretty. But this is you talking to yourself. Look at yourself from outside yourself in observation mode until you feel comfortable saying, well, damn, I ain't even noticed I had all this great stuff going on about me. I guess I just need to lean into that. You'll know when to come out of observation mode with yourself, but you are truly trying to fall in love with yourself and recognize who you are, as opposed to the estimation that you were sort of thinking was who you were. It's like your appraisal was off, but other people couldn't view you. Like if you give a diamond to a crackhead, are they going to know that it's worth millions? Nah, they're still going to try to sell it anyway, but they're not going to know the right price for it, and they're not even going to sell it for the right price. They're so desperate for any amount, they'll take $15, not even knowing it was a $15 million diamond. That's where your filter is going to be shifted. You're going to see the true value of your diamond. Midas. Entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything into gold. Delights in sharing life's riches. In the front, child orphan. Right? You sort of raised yourself. But independence based on learning to go it alone. Conquering the fear of surviving. You are going to level up so hard when you reconnect your battery into source. So get outside, get some more light, find some water where you can. If you can find a sauna, a spa, treat yourself. But you also can just lay outside in the park with your daughter on like some blankets and soak up the sun. Fly some kites, blow some bubbles, stuff like that. Reinvigorate your soul in the parts of you that are not locked into, I have to do A, B, C, I have to be A, B, and C. You unfurl, you unroll out of like a little larva thing I'm saying, when you get to just be and you get to stretch and you get to observe you and see you in a different way. So try this. I'm going to say for 21 days, but you'll know when your observation mode is over, because after observation mode hits, there's going to be a new confidence that comes in for you. Like, okay, I saw myself do this. I didn't even know I did this naturally. Oh, I be cooking, and I was just cooking, and I didn't even realize this is something that could be really good for other people. Maybe they need my recipes. There are going to be so many things that you start realizing about yourself. Like, crap, I got King Midas hands, man. Have a good day, love.